Welcome back to The Lifeboat, a podcast where we strive to create a safe space for those who feel alone in their struggles in hopes that they'll feel less alone. Today we're talking about hopes and dreams and how it's okay to kind of just pursue them in the face of failure. With me today are my two guests who will introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Cody.
Hey, Cody. I'm Milo Davis, one half of the great duo, Leslie and Milo Davis. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you guys for being here. And with that, we will just hop right into it. Well, as I was saying, we're talking about hopes and dreams and the simple question of what are some hopes and dreams that you guys have in like your personal life and just now?
That's interesting. I think it would be different for me than it is for you guys because of the age difference. I'm 53, so I grew up in a different era than you guys are currently growing up in. So my hopes and dreams were just to be successful, and my particular gift is just empowering people around me and just joining in and helping everybody else be great. So for that, for the most part, my life has been great.
Okay.
That's cool.
What about you, Cody?
Yeah, I think that I just turned 27 and I just got married about 6 months ago. So I have some dreams that revolve around family, and that's new for me because I've been single for all of the rest of the years of my life. So never been married before. So this is a new chapter with like just some hopes and dreams for what our life looks like. And oh, this is Josh. It's okay, Josh. And everybody meet Josh. You can't see him. He's a mastermind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so just hopes and dreams that really just focus on, like, I would love to have a house in today's market. That's for real impossible. But it's a hope I have. And, my happiness and our happiness isn't, like, set on that. But it is something that we pray for and that we dream about. And without letting it, like, consume us, because it's important. But we also have a roof over our head right now, which is we are thankful for. So,
yeah.
yeah.
So like, how are you guys actively like pursuing those hopes and dreams? Yeah, I know you mentioned the house market is definitely not it right now, but
yeah, it's a whole like new avenue because my parents, like the house that I grew up in was passed down. My mom bought it from my great grandfather, and so moving here to Georgia like 10 years ago and establishing a family here, I think it's I had ideas in my brain about what it would look like, and it's definitely different than like how I was raised. And so I think just being okay with the fact that like it might not be exactly what I hope and dream of, but we're trying to figure out how to save money and who to talk to, because there's so many realtors and different people here. So our dream, like the things that we're doing to prepare for that, are really just like very practical. They're not super like fun.
okay.
Whereas like other hopes and dreams I have that are like creative, the pursuing those things, it's more fun for sure. So yeah,
definitely. How about you?
Well, my hopes and dreams have always just been to raise my family and send my children off having a great start, and having great support. So mostly we're nurturers. When I say we're, I'm always talking about my wife. I can't stop talking about her. She's great. But for the most part, currently with the dream, since I don't come from the typical background of going to college and getting a degree and everything, most of my work has always been within restaurants and warehouses and stuff like that. And with that, I've been successful. But now, looking at the future and seeing where it's going and what it's going to be, I'm currently just trying to get into the cybersecurity space and just e-commerce and everything else. I don't want to be left behind. So the way that I'm pursuing that now is actually today Once we finish this particular episode, I will be opening up my first e-commerce store.
Oh, wow.
So I'll be pursuing that and going in that direction and see where it goes, where it leads me, because everything is just so, I don't want to say broad, it's wide within that. You could do so much. So I'll be actively learning how to go ahead and run my e-commerce store, and then as well picking up some other things, such as maybe a podcast. So we'll see what happens, but I'm definitely pursuing it. I'm actively doing that now. Whereas though before I would tell people about, the things I'm doing, getting excited and everything else. And then most of the time when you tell people about stuff, you're either going to get one, supporters or no supporters. And most of the time when you get the downers that say that you can't do it, this and that stuff tends to seep in. And then you lose motivation and excitement about the things that you want to do, because so many people are saying, you can't do it, you can't do this, that, and that thing. Then you start to believe them. So if you don't have enough willpower within you to get out and pursue your stuff without telling anybody, but most of the time you need to be silent about what you're doing until it comes, until you do it. But if you need people to help you along that way when there are doubters and that, you got to still have some type of motivation within you to keep on going without letting that get you down, because it can.
No, I definitely agree. When I find myself like getting super excited about stuff, I definitely am like, hey, I'm doing this. And then I tell people, and then the opinion they bring back is like not as positive as I thought it would be. I'm like, that's cool. That's dope. And then I feel myself kind of just stepping away from what I had planned. So I definitely get to understand that. That's dope.
Yeah.
Super excited for the e-commerce store. We'll have to talk more about that later. That's dope.
That is cool.
I don't share a lot, so you're not going to get too much out of me. I'm a silver vault. You can't get nothing. I'm locked down.
Okay.
He's locked down.
Lockdown.
That's awesome.
We'll kind of move on to this next question. How does that affect your daily life? Like, what goes in kind of just in your mind and just thinking about pursuing those hopes and dreams, if that makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Codi, I'm always going to let you go first.
What a gentleman. I think you made a great point, Milo, that it sometimes, like even being on this episode about hopes and dreams, it can be a little intimidating to like bring people into that, because even once like you say it out loud to people, it's almost like they hold you to it and they don't know necessarily how to separate what you're going after from who you are. And so those things kind of become intertwined and almost inseparable. And I think, personally, it's kind of damaging because things change and your hopes and your dreams do change. And I think that they should change as you learn and grow and go after what you're pursuing, the hopes and dreams that you're pursuing. You're going to learn things that change, like how you think and what you want. And so like this is a very new stage in my life where my hopes and dreams they're not just about me. They're about me and my husband and the family that we have. And so honestly, it's been a really great experience to start thinking about that, because I just feel like if you would have asked me what my hopes and dreams were 10 years ago, like they are so drastically different. And the way that I went about them was different. And if I didn't like succeed, like I would hone in so like far into like specific things, and if I didn't succeed those things, I felt like a failure. And that I just feel like was super damaging to my belief in myself and my creativity, and it just wasn't good for me. And so I'm happy that I had that experience, because now I feel like when I look at my hopes and dreams for my family, I hold things a lot more loosely. It should be a space that you're hopeful in and that you dream, and that's all very light and like airy, and it should be like a happy space and not a space that feels like where you're bogged down. Like if I don't do this, if I don't pursue this, if I don't succeed, then I'm just a failure and my whole life is meaningless. And so I have really taken on that way to look at it. Like I just said earlier, like I have a great husband, I have a great home. It may not be the home that I want for the rest of my life and that I'm dreaming of and hoping for and pursuing, but something that's helpful for me is just not taking myself too seriously or that too seriously, because things can change in the blink of an eye, and maybe we have to move or maybe whatever. So that's actually helped me when I think about those things, is not being overly serious or overbearing with myself. And so if we get to like save more money one month and the next month there's, a doctor's bill or whatever, like not being like, oh my gosh, we're never going to make it there, and just like getting so overwhelmed, just being very open-handed and knowing that like our dreams could totally change. Maybe we want to live like on a bus, like, where you have like, you drive around the country, like maybe that's what we want to do instead of like having land and a home. Like who knows what's going to happen. So that's kind of how I like to think about it. That's how I feel about it.
No, that's great. No, I definitely agree with that. I'll speak personally. Like when I first went to college, I was super expectant. I was like, I have to do super well because I want to go into like cybersecurity and IT. And then COVID happened. I kind of just fell out of school, and it kind of just hit me in a different way for a while, and kind of just stuck with me that I couldn't do it. But I've been grateful that I have an opportunity where I work now in a IT position. Back in school. I'm on track to where I would have been if I hadn't stopped school. So it's definitely, you have to kind of just push away those expectations you set for yourself. Sorry, I don't know where I'm really going with that. Kind of just be kind of present in the moment, because you don't know what's going to happen, and you just have to take it a day at a time.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. Almost like with hopes and dreams, they shouldn't just be pass or fail.
Yeah.
I think setting goals that are important to you and trying to hold yourself accountable to that, but also if things change, like it not being the end of your world, because things will change and the end of your world will then happen, and that sucks.
Yeah.
Hey guys, you bring up great points, but I think those things come into play depending on where you are in life. So all my dreams always had a entrepreneurial spirit, but as life happens, you have children, everything, things change. So you start to support your family, and you put your dreams on hold because they can't be, or you think they cannot be attained while you're doing something else. So you financially, money plays in a lot of positions for me. Saying as far as me putting my dreams and everything else on hold. And then when you try to do something with your partner and letting them know what you want to do, it might be too much money. So now you guys are adversaries during this part. Like, oh man, she's not supporting me on this, that, and the third. But the family comes into play. You have to make sure everything is stays straight. So a lot of my dreams have been pushed aside and to the back, but now I'm in a position where as though both my children are pretty much good and independent. One is working, and he's going back to college. He has a job in IT. This is great, and he has a podcast, so he's doing things independently, which are great in my eyes. And then the other one is at Alabama. Roll Tide! So he's doing his thing. I love it. And it's good, and I'm excited. So now it's just my wife and I. Still, we have to give financial support to both my children. But right now, all the dreams that I had before about being an entrepreneur now are at the forefront. It's something I want to do, and like I said, I don't want to be left behind, because everything is cybersecurity, and just everything's in the future, robotics and all that type of stuff. And I don't want to be left behind, so I'm pursuing things in that direction so I could still be relevant, and then also be able to make a great deal of money like you young guys are making now. People are just creating careers out of nowhere, on the internet and doing different things, and I want to be a part of that. Yeah. So it's great. But as far as hopes and dreams go, bouncing back from a lot of different things is the difficult part. But when you do it, it's great. And you got to start looking at your failures and everything, because you will fail at a lot of things. You don't learn too much with success. but how just to still be successful within that arena that you're working in. But when you fail, what do you do? You know, how do you come back? You know, that's the difficult part. But when you do come back and keep on going, it's a great thing because you learn a lot more from your failures than you ever will from success.
Okay. I know you mentioned it like a couple seconds ago. What are some hopes and dreams you've had to let go
of? Real estate. You know, I tried my hand in real estate a little bit, but not knowing everything it is about the real estate and everything else, the costs and everything coming in, you know, was difficult. So you find yourself in not just real estate, but anything you're going into, you may run into financial situation where as though it's going to cost you more money, but you don't have investors and you don't have that much money to be given out to keep on trying something that's not even working yet and you're not sure of. So the doubt starts setting in. And when you don't have a mentor or somebody it is that you're following that cares more about your success than you do, then you tend to fail. And when you're doing things about yourself, by yourself, is very difficult. You get unsure about things and you tend to stop.
Yeah.
So I've tried my hand maybe in like about 3 things until you guys came. And then it was on. You know, it's like, oh, I got to take care of the family. So those things took a more priority than anything else. And I always wanted to make sure you guys were secure. So that's what I did as opposed to keep on pursuing what I wanted to do.
How about you, Codi? Is there anything that you had to let go of in pursuit of like where you are now?
I think I might be a little bit more hippy-dippy, but I think that...
What's that mean? What does that mean?
If you would have asked me 10 years ago what my hopes and dreams were, I probably wouldn't have said it this direct, but essentially I wanted to be known and famous for music and artistry and writing songs. And I think slowly but surely I realized that I didn't really want that. It's what I thought I wanted until I was in the industry and started to realize things that I just didn't like, that I wasn't okay with, did things and learned things and grew. And so when I started to know that I didn't want to pursue it anymore, I dealt with a lot of shame because so many people had poured into me. So many people had helped me financially, with time, with effort. Everybody, you know, my family, like they were also excited about me moving to Georgia, away from my small town to pursue these things. And I felt like if I told them that I didn't want to do this anymore, people would just assume that I had failed or that I just couldn't do it. And I struggled with that. I did, because I didn't want to feel that way. I had just, my hopes and dreams had changed. They changed. And it's not that I didn't succeed. Like, I got to do things that I had dreamed of. I just didn't win a Grammy. I didn't, make it to like where people saw me as like ultra successful, and I had to like wrestle with that and realize that like I had done some things that I was really proud of and that I got to release and feel like a sense of ownership for. And I had to just remind myself that I had succeeded. It was just time for something different. And so there are times that I still wrestle with that a little bit, but I don't feel like I ever was like, I can't do this, I have failed, dream is dead, It's changed. And the really cool thing is everything that I learned from pursuing that, there's like a million little threads that are all over the place that have helped me to where I am now, to where I have a job that I absolutely love, and I get to have my hand in musical things and creative things and like and pastoral things, and like where all of my passions and hopes and dreams that I have, you can like look back at like videos that my parents took of me as a child and like see those same passions and threads. It's like, oh, it all makes sense. And it was never a failure. It just set me up for what was next. And I think that it's a beautiful part of life. And maybe, you know, I might one day go back to like dabbling in making music or something like that. But it's not like, oh, because I didn't reach a certain like expectation that it was a failure. So I don't necessarily feel like I have anything that I failed at. Things just changed. That's all.
No, I think that.
Oh, that was great.
That was great.
So when you gain life experience, and when you have that opportunity to look at that span of your life and see where your dreams and everything were and what you were doing and how and what that looks like right now, and you're still in the same space, is great because you haven't lost it at all.
Right.
But a lot of times when you sit back and you look at your life and you just look at your gifts and everything, most people will say, "Tag, I wasted," because they didn't live up to somebody else's expectation of their life.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the difficult part, because you don't want to disappoint the people around you, and you feel like a failure when you don't, you know, achieve those goals that other people made for you. You know, but when you look at your life, you know, and you're doing what it is that you need to do for you, it's a great thing. You know, as long as you feel some sense of accomplishment in that and succeed, I think it'd be great. But a lot of times you don't get that as a young person. You're living with your parents, and they have expectations for you.
Yeah.
You know, and when you don't achieve those and everything else, you feel like a disappointment. And most of the time, parents will let you know you are a disappointment. Not being mean or anything like that. They just are trying to motivate you, but just in a different way. You guys are just not connecting, you know, on that level. But somehow you have to come out of that, you know, and be able to go on. And most of the time people don't.
Yeah.
And it's sad, you know, but I'm glad that, you know, all the hoopla and yelling and everything that I did to my children haven't damaged them that much. But they need to man up anyway. Oh, I got blessed with just having boys, so it's been a great thing. You know, so I was allowed to punch in the chest and everything, even though I didn't. How many times I hit you? Don't mention.
Don't say anything. We'll lie.
Listen,
you like that.
don't answer that question. No face, no case. I didn't do nothing. But it is very difficult. But I'm glad that you guys definitely have a safe space here, so you can talk to both you, your mother, and I, you know, on that. And we're always here to support you. So it's great when you have that. But it's definitely difficult and sad when you don't achieve what it is you want to, due to not achieving the other goals that everybody has for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
Like, I'm in a very grateful position to you and Mom, to where I do have that safe space. Even when I mentioned I was not doing college, you're like, it's all right, you'll find something. But you definitely push me like, well, you need to get a job, because you don't want to not have doing nothing. You want to get experience in something. So if you don't end up going back to college, you have experience in a different field, and you can pursue that. But not everybody has that, and
this is true.
that is definitely a sad thing to kind of just.
Yeah.
So very grateful for that.
Yeah. Here's a hot take. I was just thinking about this the other day. I went to college right out of high school and got a degree in something that I couldn't really even tell you. I don't use it. I mean, I do. I use it, but not in the sense. I got a degree in human services.
Okay.
And I thought, you know, all these things, if none of this stuff works out, I'll go do this. And I was just sitting there and thinking, like, I pretty much grew up on the foothills of, like, if you want to be successful, you have to go to college.
Yeah.
It was right after, I feel like probably 5 years after that, we've not really forced that on, or we've not forced people into that. Excuse me. I don't feel like. I think our society has learned to be like, there are other things that you can do to be successful.
Right.
You don't have to go to college. And I was just sitting there and thinking, like, oh my gosh, if I could have given my time and my money and my effort into getting experience in other, just like a myriad of things at that age, if I could choose to go to college right now, I would, because I know a lot more about what I want to do and what I think I could go and get educated on that would be
beneficial to you.
Yes. And so I think that's a hot take. If you're listening and you have parents, don't tell them I'm encouraging you to do this, but like, just think about it. Like, I mean, who I was as an 18-year-old knew nothing about the world and I grew up in a small town. I had no idea that like you could go to school for creative things and actually get hired to do creative things. I thought if you went for that, you had to be an art teacher at a high school, like no joke. And so moving and getting educated by the world and like just things that different places in the world offer you, and it just like my whole horizon expanded. And I think it's so important to realize that, because you're just kind of in your little bubble, protected by your parents, which is awesome. I had great parents too, and they protected me from a lot of things, but like I had to grow up and learn things, and I've learned who I am, what I love, what I don't love, what I want to do. And thankfully I'm still able to get like educated in that because of the people that I'm around and stuff, but like I don't have a degree in it, and it would be really awesome if I did. So
well, they say the older you get, older people are more successful in college and everything else like that than younger people are, because they do know. They got to see life, and they got to understand a lot of different things. So when they go back to college and pursue what it is they truly want to do, it's definitely great, because they know how to go after it now and they get it, so that's definitely a good thing. But I'm not a big supporter of college per se, or anything else like that. But I am a big proponent in learning. I believe you have to learn every step of the way that you go.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, so it doesn't make me get locked in on forcing, my children to go to college, do this, because I know it's so many other different ways you can go.
Yep.
But you have to be, you have to educate yourself and learn, on a daily basis to be able to survive out here and to pursue exactly what it is that you want to do.
That's good.
That's good. I want to move back to a point that was kind of mentioned, we kind of like glazed over, kind of just like setbacks. Like things do change, and how? Sorry, I couldn't really read my question. Like, have there been any setbacks that like prevent you from pursuing what you're going after?
Life happens.
No, yeah, life does happen.
So when I say life happens, you have your difficulties, you have your ups and downs. Everything is not, even though we want it to be, everything is not always going to be on a incline. When you have experiencing some success and everything else, markets change, people change. We're fickle. We like you one minute and we don't like you the next. Especially if you're a musician or whatever. So your first album is great. Everything, your second one is a little mediocre. Now we don't like you anymore. We're off to new. And you got so many different musicians and coming out on a daily basis. So much new music out, that comes in, and we tend to change and we move on to different things. But the difficult part is how do you, how you keep on going.
Yeah.
When those things do happen to you, if you're not having the same success that you did yesterday. Do you get down? Do you pick up bad habits as far as addictions and stuff like that? So I believe you have to have a great support system, people that you can talk to, about that to keep you on. You have to have great advocates, people that care about you and are going to support you and keep you moving, in the right direction to pursue what you want. But, you got a lot of people that fall in between the crevices. I never really had anybody to really talk to or I could trust. I love your mother to death, but we don't talk about certain things because I look at her and I know based on our conversations and what we do, certain things that I can say to her. I know what the response is going to be, and I'm not ready to receive that response. So I may not have that conversation with her. So most of the time, everything is just within myself. So the only way I find myself getting lifted out of any situation, setback that I have is God. And that's period. And my conversations with him are amazing because he tells me exactly what I need to do. And not only does that, when he tells me what I need to do, he does it for me. He leads me there. He makes me go, and it's a great relationship that I have with him. So I would say that should be the first thing with everybody, is to have a great relationship with him. He's more than you have, and he always has more for you.
That's good.
That's good. I like that.
That's good stuff. Yeah.
Kind of pushing in the aspect of overcoming setbacks and failures. What are some ways that not necessarily you have overcome kind of like setbacks or failures in your life, but like, do you think like you found helpful, like either from you experiencing it or someone else telling you?
Say that again?
Did that not make sense? Sorry. How do I rephrase this? How do you overcome failure is the overall question, right? And you don't have to like necessarily give a time where you've experienced it, but maybe like someone has told you something that they've gone through and kind of like passing.
I think when people are good at stuff, just in our society and our culture, the way that we function, I think we often assume that they're going to use that to make them money or successful. I think that there should always be something that you're passionate about, that you're doing not for views, not for money, something that's not peer reviewed, but it's for yourself, and something that maybe you review yourself and you learn in your like quiet spaces, maybe how to get better. But having that, I think, is important, because that way your identity is not based in your dream and it doesn't become an idol. So when you have a setback, you're not devastated. You have life outside of what you're going after that is supporting you, people, community that's there, they're not just there to help you achieve this thing. They're like actually your friends, and they're actually supporting you as a person and not just supporting your dream. And so when you stumble, or you feel like you want to give up, or you hit a season in your life where you just can't go after it, it's not like everybody disappears and you're left alone, like carrying the burden of that. Like, you actually have other things that you can pour your energy and your heart into and be fulfilled by. I think that's a huge thing, because there was just a point in my life where everything I did revolved around me and my dreams and my goals and what I wanted for my life. And it was lonely. And it honestly wasn't like what I would truly want. But I think we just live in a world that like hypes that up so much and makes it seem like if you are successful in what you have envisioned for yourself, then like you've got it figured all out. And like it's unrealistic. And so I think that's my answer. What do you think, Milo?
I don't know, because we are a social people, and we're always gathering and being together. I think for the most part, especially when you're young and everything you do revolves around impressing or being seen by the people that you talk to in some type of way. So you tend to put more pressure on yourself to be successful in whatever it is that you are doing, so you're able to, show off, and not really show off, but be able to fit in with the people that you deem successful and the people that you talk to, and not necessarily be better than them in anything, but as good as they are. So when you don't hit those type of things, you tend to create more of a problem than anything. And when I say that because you're the one, because now as you're analyzing being a failure versus the people that you're around who are successful, you're kind of embarrassed. So you tend to pull away from them, and you start to go into a shell and everything else. So it's a difficult feeling to navigate in that. And it's kind of hard, because you can get lost. But somehow, some way, you need to fight back and get some supporters and some advocates that are on your side. And most of the time, it's your parents. So you have to have a great relationship with them and a connection, in that. And then it's your closest friends that you have, that you allow in your circle. You don't need too many of them.
Yeah.
Because you don't need all the voices in the world speaking to you, because then you don't know who to listen to. So it's always confusing. It's difficult, but the first thing I would say in order to come out of that or type of thing is definitely talk to your parents, because they are your biggest supporters and your advocates, whether you believe it or not.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm going to add on to that because for this podcast, the goal is kind of just to like get those conversations had, because you guys know me, I tend not to talk very often about what I'm going through or how it affects me, and I know that can be lonely, and I know that in the long run it doesn't do anything for you. And the goal kind of is to get people talking about what's affecting them, whether it is to your parents, to your friends. So I will push, like, definitely get those close friends and talk to them. I feel like it's really important to just have a group of people you can just be yourself around and really tell them how you're feeling.
Oh, yeah.
And it's been very helpful, especially with this podcast, because I cannot do this alone. And I have very great friends who help me out. And it's been awesome.
That's so good. Yeah, that's awesome.
I will definitely move on to my iPad and find this next question. I'm not very prepared with this. What is the balance between setting realistic goals, hopes and dreams, and unrealistic hopes and dreams? Like what, if that makes sense. Sorry, I'm trying to rephrase a bunch of stuff, make it sound a little better.
No, that makes sense.
I was getting ready to say it definitely makes sense, but I don't know if there's really a balance between the two, because what you believe is unrealistic, I believe everything is possible.
Yeah.
You can do it. It just depends on where you're at with it. Someone above you is who's successful, and here's what you're talking about. If you're talking to them about it, they may think that there's an unrealistic goal based on what they've done in their life, and try to convince you to follow their path, which is not a bad path at all. It's great. It's going to lead to success, and it's going to lead to some money. But the goals you have are, I wouldn't say unrealistic, but you need to look at them and examine them, and then write a plan out and see how attainable they are, and then start working towards that. I say never hide your dreams. Those are what's going to carry you out through life. Mm-hmm. That's going to give you the aspiration to want to go out and do something. So keep on having them. Don't shut them down. But you need to put down on paper what it is that you want to do, and then start working towards that. And then as you grow and everything, you'll start to see what's unrealistic to you and what's happening in your world, and make the shifts that you need to make to continue.
Yeah, like I know someone gave me an example not too long ago. It's like if you want to travel the world, that's your like dream, but you really want to be a teacher, you have to sit there and think about it. If you're a teacher, you can't travel the world like you want to. It's kind of just sitting there and trying to decipher like what the expectations you have for yourself and what's truly possible for you.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are living in probably the greatest age of a lifetime. And all the information is out there for you to do whatever it is you want to do. You could look it up on the internet. You could do research much faster than we could back, then without the computer and everything else. But this is the information age. You can attain anything that you want, all the information. You just have to go after it. But you can also get lost in that, because everybody has the information on the same subject that you're looking for. And then you'll find yourself researching forever, but never doing anything, because everybody else has a different opinion of how to go about doing that within that same thing that you're looking for. And then you continue to search, and you become an expert on all the information, but haven't done a daggone thing. So this is not Nike where you just do it, but I say, why wait? So if you have something on your mind and you want to do it, why wait until tomorrow? Start now and do whatever it is that you want. Make some failures. Every failure is a learning point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not failure. You're just learning. And then you go ahead and get back in there and correct that and then go on. You're going to be successful.
I do feel like, especially mental health wise, it's hard to see those failures as learning opportunities. When I was feeling depressed, when I hit those setbacks, I was like, dang, better give up on it. There's no point. Like, I'm lost. Like, I just can't do it. And I guess I want to kind of ask the question, like, how do we see those failures as learning experience or see those failures in a good light? How can we flip those?
I think listening to the wisdom of people before you, because everybody's had a moment in their life where they don't feel like they can bounce back. And if you're listening and you haven't had that moment, hit me up with some advice. I think it's just bound to happen. But I know I'm here and I love where I'm at in life and I'm really grateful. But I wouldn't be here without some of those setbacks. And so I think in the moment it's hard to wrap your brain up around that, and that's okay. But having people, I love what you said, Milo, like you've got to have your support group. And I believe there's 3 spots that you need to fill with people that you really trust. And that's, you need to have a friend. And a friend is just someone that can be there for the good, bad, and ugly, the fun, bring joy into your life. Watch Netflix and binge Taco Bell. Just someone that doesn't have to take life or anything quite as seriously, just someone you can have fun with. And then you need someone that's a mentor that you can be honest about the deepest, darkest parts of who you are and where your mind can go and the things that you're feeling, and someone that can mentor you and walk you through what is truth and what is not. And then you need someone who's a coach and who knows what you're going after and can help you get better at those things. And I think if you can find people that can fulfill those 3 spots, I just feel like you end up, when you hit a wall, when you hit something that you end up having, you feel a setback, a failure, those people can give you great perspectives and listen to you and encourage you and take your mind off of what you're feeling or thinking so that you can be better set up to just continue to move forward. Because we can't do this alone. You're not supposed to. We weren't created to do things alone. And so having those people, and then a relationship with the Lord, and just knowing that He's got me and He does have a plan for me. And I thought I wanted things that were leading me down a path that I was destroying some parts of my life, and I didn't actually want it. And thankfully, He was still there with me in those moments and was able to turn me around and get to me so that I began to listen and move forward in different avenues. And so, those things right there, definitely have helped me when I've felt like I failed or like I ruined opportunities, like I wouldn't have another dream or I wouldn't feel hopeful again. I would say those were the key things that got me out and got me going again.
No, I love that. I definitely like the 3. That's awesome.
You definitely have to have those 3 in your life. But my question to you guys and to the world is, how do you get to that? And especially when you're young, when you don't have that information to know to look for those type of people, in your life, what do? I say it's difficult, to find, but most of the time they come to you depending on what it is that you're doing. So if you're playing in sports and you're great, in that particular sport, you have coaches that are out there, you have other parents that are rooting for you and everything else. So then you get that support around you because people want to see you do great. And in their mind, they're thinking about the professional level of those particular sports. Other people are not that ambitious and thinking about, just seeing you in a professional league. They're thinking about the education that you can get as a result of being good at your sport, a free education. So you tend to get those that in those arenas, but in other ones it's hard to see. So it has to be something within you that you have to be able to that gumption. And the only thing I could say when I say something within you is God. He's going to give you that direction. He's going to lead you to those people who are going to take interest in you and become your advocates and walk alongside you. When you're doing the right thing, when you're on that path. But you have to have some kind of connection and foundation with God. Period. I don't care what anybody else says, whether you believe in it or not. It's just a simple truth because He lives within us. And when you're able to feel Him, because we all get happy in certain situations and everything else. That's God when they're great situations. He brings that out. He gives us our desires and joy. So when we're able to connect to that, truly, you're going to be great, and He's going to lead you, to the people who are going to take care of you and lead you in the right path. So that's the foundation. That's what you truly need to get.
No, that's good.
Yeah, really good.
And I have to wrap up a little, so I'm going to ask this kind of like, what are your final thoughts? What would you say to someone who's currently struggling with whether or not to pursue what they're going after? Their hopes and dreams. Sorry, my brain is just a little.
You're doing great.
That's just you.
I think thinking about what you're gifted at, what you love, what makes you excited, thinking about those things and having faith, like Milo said, believing, praying for it, praying for help to do it, praying for clarity, talking to those three people, having friends that are supportive, having a mentor, having a coach. And if you don't have those people, praying that they would show up. I mean, that's how I found mine. And I'm not going to act like it's easy. I'm 27 and I'm just now, I feel like I actually have people, pretty solid people that will hopefully last the next, at least 10 years in my life that serve in those spots. And so, just not idolizing the dream or the hope, and remembering that ultimately our purpose is to be light and to be love. And so sometimes you got to be that to yourself. You can't be so hard on yourself and then expect yourself to go out and be love to everybody else. You're going to just end up being empty. And so not being too hard on yourself, I think is an important piece. And that way you can still remain hopeful and curious, I think is a good word, curious about what the future holds and where you're going to end up. Because if you would have told me 5 years ago that I'd be where I am, I would have probably laughed at you, and I would have been ignorant and thought that I couldn't be as happy as I am now. And it's just a beautiful part of life, learning and growing, and I wouldn't change it for anything. And so just to remain curious and have just an inquisitive brain and mind, and the way that we think about life and what it means. It doesn't have to be so serious and so this happens and this happens and this happens, and if that doesn't happen, then we're just, we're not successful. I think that's dumb. That's how I feel about it. It's dumb.
What about you?
Coming behind that is, I think that was great, Cody. So thank you for sharing that. For me, personally, I've spent the majority of my life giving away my gifts. So my gift in itself is just giving my all. I'm able to come up alongside people and help them be better at what they're doing. And if not being better, I'll find something that I'm doing and whatever and figure out a better way to do it. But in all that, I've given all that way to everybody else, and I've encouraged them and motivated them. I still do that now. I'm still able to do that, and it's a great experience. Because I I'm meeting great people, and I'm sharing with them, and we're creating some good things. But I've also, right now, and I take time for myself. So all those gifts that I've been giving away to everybody, I'm giving them to myself now. And like I said, after this show and everything else, I'll be starting my first e-commerce, but I'm still spending time on developing different things, and I'm putting all that into place. So why wait? Do it now, So whatever things that you are thinking about, your hopes and dreams and everything, I say get out and actively pursue it. Because that's the only way it's going to happen.
No, that's great. Thank you guys so much for being here. Awesome. This was awesome.
You guys want me to sing? Because I sing.
Yeah, we can do a little jingle.
That's one of my talents that I haven't unleashed on the world. My voice is...
He's definitely gaslighting right
I know.
No, my voice is amazing. You want me to sing something right now?
No, I think I'm good. For the safety of my ears and our listeners' ears, I think I am good.
I won't get up close on the mic. Look, check it out.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what song I want to sing.
Come on, sing like Amazing Grace or something.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed us talking about hopes and dreams and everything that entails. As usual, you can find us at _the lifeboat _ on Instagram and our YouTube, The Lifeboat. And with that, you don't always have to be drowning. You can always hop on the lifeboat, and we'll catch you next time.